Zulmira.
You will be surprised by what happens in the middle of the story. It will change everything. But you will only understand the real story days later. Listen, and if you think it's worth it, subscribe, share, show your feelings, to tell your own story, or to volunteer. Find us at historiadefortinozanos80.org. Come on, now I'm going to tell you another story, unpublished and true.
Zulmira.
Autoria GJN.
I met Zulmira when I went to live in the back of my Aunt Judah's house. Judah was a very good and caring lady, very human. I don't know how my aunt met Zulmira. I only know that when Zulmira was abandoned in the world after she was 50, without ever leaving the house where she had worked her whole life, I know that Zulmira was adopted by my aunt. One night, at my aunt's house after dinner, my aunt told us Zulmira's story. Her mother had died, and her father, with many children, gave them one by one to wealthy families who could take care of them. Zulmira was given to a family to be made for the rest of her life, without leaving the house, without friends, without radio or TV. Alone, Zulmira with Zulmira. She always worked hard and diligently. The mistress had two daughters who, in the grace of youth, preferred to laugh with the cheerful Zulmira. You know, right? It's very difficult for two women to live together, especially when the weaker one shines brighter. Zulmira was punished, chastised, and tormented all the time in every way by the mistress of the house and her minions. In the end, because Zulmira, despite everything, still had a smile more beautiful than the ugly faces in the house, the mistress, when Zulmira was 13 years old, ordered all of the little naughty black girl's teeth to be pulled out. It was a life of agony and suffering. You could see it in Zulmira's body and soul. After the death of the lady whom Zulmira had cared for many years while she was terminally ill in bed, Zulmira, as I said, was thrown out onto the street, and it was then that my aunt adopted Zulmira. Out of gratitude, Zulmira always insisted on trying to do everything she could in my aunt's house. Despite the protests of the official maid, my aunt and my wife, Zulmira still insisted. I think this was her life, always serving, with selflessness and joy. To end the story, because when she was alive, I really liked Zulmira, and I could go on talking about her for hours. To end the story, I will leave you with a phrase from Zulmira. I forgive you. Her original boss, on her deathbed, asking Zulmira to forgive her. This boss has always humiliated, abused, and mistreated Zulmira her whole life, and on her deathbed, she asks Zulmira for forgiveness. I wouldn't forgive her. May she burn in hell for all eternity, you disgusting son of a bitch. I forgive you, Zulmira said softly. I was pissed off with Zulmira. I didn't speak to her for a few days. I avoided eye contact and tried not to think about it. Until I forgot, time passed. I got back to normal with Zulmira, and we lived a few more years together at my aunt's house, having a good laugh about the simple things in everyday life, the good stories of the past, sitting in the afternoon sun, always on the hard bench in the backyard. About everything I did and experienced in the past, I always think about this. Now it's been decades since Zulmira died. Maybe only now do I understand why she fell. Maybe only now do I understand why she forgave her. I forgive you too, Zulmira. Did you like it? If you think it's worth it, subscribe, share, and blah blah blah. To tell your own story or to volunteer, find us at historiadefortinozanos80.org. We are always here, waiting for your unpublished and true stories. Come to 14 YouTube.